Charlotte, North Carolina has so many neighborhoods. It's kind of hard to choose which one might be for you. So where can you find convenience for commuting, accessibility to the lakes and the parks, but also affordable homes? Steele Creek. In this video, I'm going to be diving in deep to share with you everything Steele Creek has to offer so you can make the decision to call it home. And stay tuned to the very end because I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks, not only to make it more convenient, but also share why this area may be exploding in value in the next 10 years. If you've been looking for everything Charlotte, North Carolina, and the upstate of South Carolina, the ins, the outs, everything in between, you've come to the right channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and be the first to know about all changes coming to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm 𝗖𝘁, your Charlotte real estate expert, and we get calls, texts, emails, Zoom invites every single day from people just like you. So if you're looking to make the move to Charlotte, North Carolina, drop down in the description below. All of our contact information is there. Give us a call, a text, an email, even set up a Zoom. Whether you're 9 days or 90 days away from moving, whether you're coming across the world, across the country, or just across town, we're here to make your move everything you want it to be. Steele Creek. It's a lesser known area of Charlotte that sits down to the southwest corridor. Now, why is it lesser known? Well, the areas of Ballantyne and Providence and South Park, even the northern areas of Davidson and Cornelius and Huntersville seem to attract the most attention. Of course, aside from Uptown and those really schwanky neighborhoods around it. So why is Steele Creek forgotten? Well, Steele Creek is a little bit newer, and not that it was just created, but it has just started getting more attention and even more development. And in fact, there's some massive moves that's happening in Steele Creek right now that is about to skyrocket the value. Now, there's many conveniences to Steele Creek, and it is one of my top picks for areas. Not only is it more affordable than many other areas of Charlotte, but it gives you so much convenience, not only to 𝗖𝘁, but also to shopping and dining, and a lot of convenience to the airport as well as the uptown area of Charlotte and some of the major business parks. Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you on a map exactly where you need to be, what you need to be on the lookout for, and get a better understanding and gather your bearings of Steele Creek. So let's go ahead and take a much farther out view of where Steele Creek really sits. So of course it is in Charlotte, but let's talk a little bit about how far it is from all of your favorite things. So first off, it is about 2 hours from Asheville, about 2 hours from Boone. So if you want to go skiing, you want to go hang out in the mountains, it's a pretty easy drive. In addition to that, you can also access the 3 main beaches or major beaches, which let me pull this up here so you could get a better look. So you can access Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, as well as Charleston, all within 3.5 hours. Now I will note there's a little beach right up north of Wilmington called Topsail Island. You've got to check it out. It's the best beach on the East Coast. You'll thank me later. So given the fact that it has such a centralized location, let's take a closer look at the surrounding region. So Steele Creek sits right here. This is Steele Creek right here. And with this area comes a lot of convenience. You've got Lake Norman to the north, you've got Belmont off to the west. Over here in this area, you've got your Concord as well as Harrisburg areas. So let's talk a little bit about what these commutes look like and why this is convenient. Now, from a recreation standpoint, if I zoom in real quick, we see a better view again of our Steele Creek area, which is right here. You've got easy access to the river, you've got easy access to 485, I-77, and a little bit to the north, you've got access to this right up here, I-85. So very simple to get anywhere you need to go. Now, in addition to this, it's also super convenient to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. About 10 to 15 minutes, give or take, depending upon where you are in the Steele Creek area. Now, another thing I like to point out is some of our major business parks. So let's talk a little bit about how long it actually takes to get to those. So if you're planning on going into the Ballantyne area, which is the largest business park in Charlotte, North Carolina, you're going to be probably about 15 minutes, give or take. Sometimes 20, depends on where you're coming from and exactly how deep you're going into Ballantyne. The second biggest business center is going to be South Park. That's right. The second largest, also our largest shopping mall, especially for luxury type items. Beautiful area. it's probably going to take you about 30 minutes or so to get into South Park. Now, most of that has to do with if you come in here, you're going to see there's a lot of little back roads and such. So it does take a little bit longer, and there's usually a little bit of a backup right here on I-77. So you're going to hit a little bit of a backup getting in there. Not bad though. Our third biggest center is going to be, of course, right here, uptown Charlotte. Now, from Steele Creek coming on up, it'll probably take you, give or take, I would say 25 minutes to 30 minutes to get into uptown Charlotte. Not bad at all. And your farthest distance, which I'll zoom out a little bit on, this is actually the sister neighborhood to Steele Creek, is right up here in Prosperity Village. You guys have heard me talk about it before. One of my favorite areas of Charlotte. Well, there's also a business park here. It's the third largest business park. We're discounting uptown for this here in Charlotte, and it sits right here in University. Well, there's a couple different ways. So you can come down I-85 to 485, and that's probably going to be your fastest. The cool thing about this is there's actually two ways to get there, though. You could also just scoot all the way around and boop, pop right on in there. That is another avenue, especially if there's traffic on I-85. You can completely forego it. That may be your best bet to avoid traffic. This is going to put you closer to about 35, maybe 40 minutes if you're all the way on the southern tip of Steele Creek, but more than likely it's going to take you about 35 minutes to get all the way up here. And yes, it's about the same amount of time to get into uptown as up here, because if you're going during rush hour and you're coming up I-77 into uptown Charlotte, this is probably some of the biggest trafficked areas. If you're just scooting your way opposite direction of the rest of the traffic, it's going to be pretty darn quick to go 485. I drive it quite a bit. I live right up in this area. I love it. So let's hold a little bit closer into Steele Creek and take a look at what the traffic and commutes look like in the area itself. Now, here are some of the downsides to Steele Creek. There are two main veins that cut right through it, as you can see here. And yes, they are heavily trafficked. If we take a zoom in a little bit closer right here, and take a look at this exit. This is exit 4, by the way. This is the Tanger outlets right here, the premium outlets of Charlotte. But there's a lot of shopping. You see the Harris Teeter right here. Here's where your bottleneck is. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Here's your biggest bottleneck. Right here, as you come through, it goes from a 4-lane, and right here, it goes down to a 2-lane. So you've got one car going in either direction. That's a lot of people that are getting down through this area all the way down into the lower parts. Now you can see it spreads out a little bit and then comes back together and spreads out a little bit. We do have a little bit of that. If I pull up a street view here, you'll get a better idea. So it does go ahead and expand a little bit as you get to some of these intersections, but then as you see, it does go back down to that 1 lane on either side with a turn lane. So is there traffic? Yeah, it's the main vein that goes right through all of Steele Creek. You're going to see a good bit of traffic there. Now, is it horrible? No. You're going to see your biggest traffic, of course, during rush hour. Now, here's the cool thing. If you're in the Steele Creek area, which is up to the north, you're in a much better position than the folks living down in the Palisades. So this is the Palisades right down here. Now, this road right here that you see, 49, that goes all the way up, that is the main access point for everyone living in Lake Wylie and Clover, as well as everyone in the Palisades to get into Charlotte. You can expect some major backups all the way up and through here. So the nice thing is, if you live up in Steele Creek proper, right up in this region, you're not going to get that kind of traffic. You might hit a little bit of it, but it's not bad. In addition to that, a lot of folks that live down this way, they're going to come down and then they're going to take that right at the Harris Teeter. There are a bunch of developments that are scattered all throughout here over Shopton Road. So you might avoid a lot of the traffic just because you live back in these areas. So you have a much better advantage living in Steele Creek than you would living in Lake Wylie or even in the Palisades. And way better cost of living. So let's talk a little bit about schools. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons to living in the Steele Creek area. The biggest downside is going to be school ratings. Now, of course, you can understand if you've got great schools, you usually have higher cost of living or higher home prices, and higher home prices sometimes equal better schools. There's plenty of reasons for this, but this is something that you're going to find all over Charlotte. Now, what I can tell you is even if a school rating is a little bit lower, it doesn't mean the school is bad. So don't think that. There's a lot of elements that go into this. What I can tell you is the elementary and middle school are actually pretty decent. The elementary school is actually quite nice. Middle school, the grading ratings aren't as great. I highly recommend you go check out greatschools.org. The other great website you'd want to check, which actually came to me recently from an actual teacher, is reportcard.com, or go check out the school report card. They can't cheat on this one. There's no ebbs and flows and equity or things of that nature. It's all about the test scores. So go check that out if you're curious. Now, the elementary school is rated pretty well. Middle school, a little bit less, but the high school is where it's a little bit of a bummer. The Olympic High School is rated a 2 out of 10, which is really not great. Test scores aren't great, but a lot of it has to do with some overcrowding. Now, with that being said, recently, literally as of 2023, a new school opened. Now, the Palisades, as I mentioned, was right down here. There's a new school called Palisades High School. Now, some of these areas right in here still do feed into Palisades High School to go ahead and take some of the burden off of the Olympic High School. This may be something that you might want to look into if you're interested in your children going to the public school. Now, the other thing with that, there's some great private schools. As you can see here, there's also charter schools. These are things that a lot of my clients look into because it's a great option in lieu of public schooling. So if you don't want to go that route, there's some great private schools and some great charter schools here in the area. So now let's talk a little bit about what's around. Let me jump over to my satellite view, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and give you a closer look as to what you can expect in this area. So this is exit 4, as I had mentioned earlier. So right here you have the Tanger outlets, as you can see, a couple of hotels, things of that nature. We've also got some apartment complexes speckled throughout here, as well as some great neighborhoods here in the area. Now, you're also right here, you're going to see this little line that's right there, very faint. That's actually a greenway. That's right, there is a greenway that runs through this area. It connects to a couple of the really nice neighborhoods in here. Great spot to get out and get around. Go take your bike, go for a walk. Now, as we come a little bit further down the line, you're going to see right here, this is Olympic High School. So it sits right off of 45, exit 3. It is a rather expansive high school. As you can see, it's pretty big, pretty great facilities, beautiful football field. Everything you need is right there. Now, one really cool thing to this is right across the street, you have Top Golf. Now, I'm pointing this out because I actually found out Top Golf is kind of like the Starbucks effect. They only go in places where they see that there's massive economic growth. Well, the cool thing is Charlotte has 2 Top Golfs. I don't know how we swung that one. We have one on the south side of Charlotte and one on the north side of Charlotte near IKEA. So if you want to get out and have some fun, Top Golf is definitely a great spot to do it. So zooming on out from there, I'm going to show you going back up to exit 4 here. If you come on down the road, there's a lot of shopping and things of that nature. When you come over, you're going to take this turn. Now, a lot of folks live off Shopton Road. As you can see, there's a lot of beautiful developments in and through here, but there's one thing in particular I want to point out to you. If you continue on the way down, as it crosses over Lake 𝗖𝗨, look at this right here. This is the fire department. That's right. Not only do they have, of course, their own building for an engine and things of that nature, but right down here, you see those are boats. And there's actually a boathouse right here. This is the only fire department in the Charlotte area to have their own boathouse. It's kind of cool. I love driving past it. It's actually really neat looking. And then just past that, you have this beautiful development right down here. As you've got basketball courts, pickleball courts, beautiful pools, and access to Lake 𝗖𝗨 right there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, the cool thing about this area, if you kind of wiggle your way down back through here, there are some really pretty townhouses and things of that nature speckled all through this area. I actually have a client that we sold one of their properties down in some townhouses over in this way. There is a lot of options when you're in this area. You could be possibly on the lake or near the lake, or you could be off of the lake. But the price ranges are much better than Lake Norman, so keep that in mind. Now, in addition to that, you could also choose to live in what I consider the woods. So this gorgeous development right here, I know the clouds over the satellite view aren't great, but you see how spread out all of these homes are? They sit on multiple acres apiece, and it is in a neighborhood. It's a rather exclusive neighborhood, actually. It's called the Sanctuary. I'm going to zoom in here. You can see this gorgeous pool, great fitness facilities. And just as an example, here's one of the homes that are there. That's right. The homes in the sanctuary are 2 million plus. It is all custom build. They are absolutely stunning, and it is a great location. Now, if $2 million isn't in your budget, that's totally fine. There are a variety of prices in here, which we're going to get into in a minute. But I also wanted to point out all of the parks that are available as well. So I pointed out Topgolf, and you can go shopping. But right down here, we have McDowell Nature Preserve. So this has miles and miles of trails for hiking, biking, anything you want to do. But you can also go out there and go camping as well. So you can see you can get down to the waterfront right here. They probably have some pictures that'll pop up. I can show you a little bit better. Here we go. So you can get down to the waterfront and go hang out in the park. So it's a great spot if you want to get out any time of day. It's so pretty. Highly recommend it. And it's nice that it's basically right in your backyard, which is great. Now, another wonderful park that you could probably be checking out is right up here. Thomas McAllister Wingate Park. Now, this one's very popular for folks that play soccer or softball, baseball, as well as we do have a lot of folks that play cricket in the area as well. So we've got a bunch of open fields, park, playground, you name it, they've got it. It's a great spot to be. Now, aside from that, of course, you're still pretty close. If I zoom all the way out, you're still pretty close to the National Whitewater Center, which is right up here, about 15 to 20 minutes up the road. You've got access, of course, Catawba River, Lake Wylie, and up north to Lake Norman is probably about a 35-minute drive. So not bad at all whatsoever. Okay, so now let's get a better idea of what it looks like from a pricing perspective to live and purchase a home in the Steele Creek area. Okay, so this is a map of all homes that are active, under contract, and coming soon. The orange represents the homes that are under contract right now with a buyer, and the green represents all the homes that are currently active. If you see a purple, it's coming soon. So as you can see, there's this larger band right up at the top here that are offering homes, of course, in that 350, as I just said, to 500. But what you're also going to notice is there's a pretty even mixture of houses that are on market and houses that have already gone under contract. As I kind of hover over these, you'll see that there's quite a few in the 300 to 400 range, and there are really not as many in the 500s range up in this area. As we move a little bit further down, let me zoom out. As we move a little bit further down, you're going to notice that we still have several in the 300 range, a lot in the solid 400 range, and not a whole lot getting up into close to the 500. We're definitely still in the mid 400s. So here's the nice thing about this. Have you been looking for a home that's under 400,000 or under 450? This may be one of the best spots that you can look for to find homes in that price range, to get you in the market, to get you started. But if you are already looking for a home, you know that you can go over 450, let's go take a look at another price range. Okay, so this is showing 550 to 750. Now, the first thing you're going to notice, there's almost nothing up here that meets that criteria. There's 2 homes. That's really not a lot at all. We're actually seeing more of the homes along this little band right in through here, out towards the sanctuary, out this way. And you're seeing that the homes are still, they're substantially bigger than what we were finding earlier. But if you see here, 3,200 square feet, 5-bed, 3-bath for $675. That's still a really good price, especially compared to other homes in Charlotte. Now, where you're going to start to see this become more popular is all the way down here towards the Palisades. The Palisades is littered with homes in that price range for good reason. It's a beautiful area. What you're also going to see is there are more homes active than under contract in the Palisades. Maybe the traffic? I don't know. I do love the area, but it is a challenge. So as you can see, we've kind of outpriced ourselves from the Steele Creek area by jumping to that criteria. So now let's take a look at a much higher price point and see what actually exists. All right, now we're looking at 800,000 plus. Now it might sound stunning to you to have this crazy luxury development right next to an area where you can get a home and snag it for just $400,000, right? Well, that's because the sanctuary is a little bit special. So as you can see, you can snag a beautiful $4 million estate, 8,000 square feet with 6 beds, 7 bathrooms, and 3 half baths. I mean, honestly, sign me up.
but I don't have that kind of wallet. So I'll stick a little bit further into this way. But we do have some beautiful homes you can take a look at. And the nice thing is you do have a mix in this region, which is kind of cool to look at. Now, I'll also note there are plenty of these homes down in the Palisades in this price range as well, over $800,000. Again, lots of active homes, not many under contract. Very interesting. But if you want to be in Steele Creek, which is different than the Palisades, once again, we have priced ourselves out of Steele Creek. We don't have homes that are that expensive right in Steele Creek proper. Really only out here in the sanctuary and a few handful of areas right on the lake. So let's talk about what could possibly increase your property value by living in the Steele Creek area. Right up here, this spot right on the river is a new development. Not just that, it's an incredible master plan community that has a completely different view and look and design than any other master plan community in Charlotte or any others that I've seen in the Carolinas. This community is going to boast not only residential, but also commercial and recreational opportunities all within the same development. It's called the River District. I did a video on this the other day. Feel free to go ahead and snag that video and get a little bit more information and more detail. But this incredible community is going to be marrying nature with your day-to-day life. Wouldn't it be really cool if you could walk to work or to a restaurant after work or during work and still be able to go out and enjoy the views over the Catawba River? Well, the River District is going to do just that. Not only is it going to have commercial as well as business, meaning office buildings, but it's also going to have retail spaces. So there'll be shopping and dining available. In addition to that, it's also going to have a 2-acre working farm. That's right, literally someone working a 2-acre farm in the community. And because they want to keep nature truly a part of everything that they do, they're also making sure they have over 30 miles of walking and biking trails. Not only that, they're also going to have a boardwalk right along the river right there. It's going to be incredible. They just broke ground several months ago, but we finally have the connectivity over West Boulevard, and as you can see, they are already getting cracking. They've already got some of the roads built out and everything, but right in here is where we're going to have the hub. Now, DRB Homes is one of the builders that is starting in the community. They will have their model done very soon. By the time you see this, it might already be done. But themselves, as well as David Weekley and another builder, are starting with townhouses. Now, these are going to be farm style as well as a mixture with some modern, darker tones. But they want to make sure that no matter what the builder is, they all flow together. So they're going to have very similar stylings with the builder's own twist. So what in the world does this have to do with you and living in Steele Creek? Well, no, this is not Steele Creek. We are north of Steele Creek, but because of the proximity to Steele Creek and the values as well as the attention that this is gathering, we're going to see property prices increase probably over the next several years. Now, it will take several years for, of course, this to build out in the River District, and that's going to bring a lot more economic growth to the area. Not only that, additional shopping, dining, possibly even some expansion of roads. This is Valentine 2.0. Why is it Valentine 2.0? Because it's a massive planned community that has some of the most unique designs that anyone has ever seen. And because of that, the attention that it gleans is going to pull a lot of attention into the Steele Creek area, which is going to lead to expansion of more roads, as well as improvements to schools and more. The economic benefit will trickle down into this area, and I cannot wait to see what comes. So in a nutshell, Steele Creek not only has convenience, but it also has affordability and an incredible lifestyle with a lot of future growth up its sleeve. So if you've been looking for a great spot, Steele Creek may be the spot for you.
I hope you got a ton of value out of this video, and I hope you learned a little bit. If you've got other questions and comments, drop them into the comments box below. I really do check and answer all of our commentary. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button and be the first to know about all changes coming to Charlotte, North Carolina. As I mentioned before, we get calls, texts, emails, Zoom invites from people just like you looking to move to the Charlotte, North Carolina area and South Carolina. So if that's you, be sure to go ahead and drop into the description below. All of our contact information is there. Give us a call, a text, an email, set up a Zoom, whether it's 9 days or 90 days from now, whether you're moving across the world, across the country, or just across town, we're here to make your move everything you want it to be. Until next time, I look forward to showing you around town.
So you're making the move. There's a lot of videos that you can be watching, like this one right here, or maybe even this one. Really either one of these, but honestly, watch both of them because they're going to help you make the move. Go ahead, pick one. They're both really good.